Sleep, my child, and peace attend thee all through the night. Guardian angels hover round thee all through the night. Soft the drowsy hours are creeping, hill and vale in slumber sleeping. I, my loving vigil keeping all through the night.
Winter was coming. The birds flew south where the air was warm and berries plentiful. One little bird had broken its wing and could not fly so far. It was all alone in the cold world of frost and snow. The forest looked warm, so the bird made its way to the trees to ask for help. First, it came to a birch.
Beautiful birch tree. My wing is broken and my friends have flown away. May I live among your branches till they come back for me?
Oh, no, indeed, answered the birch, drawing her fair green leaves away. We have our own birds to help. I can do nothing for you.
The birch is not very strong. It could be that she could not hold me easily. I will ask the oak. Great oak tree, you are so strong. May I live in your branches till my friends come back in springtime?
Springtime? That is a long way off. How do I know what you might do in all that time? Birds are always looking for something. Why, you might eat all my acorns.
So the bird went on.
Perhaps the willow will be kind to me. Gentle willow, my wing is broken and I cannot fly south. Will you let me stay in your branches till springtime?
The willow did not look gentle then. She drew herself up proudly. Indeed? I do not know you, and we willows never speak to strangers. We certainly do not take in strange birds. The poor little bird did not know what to do. Its wing was not yet strong enough, yet it began to fly as best it could when it heard a voice whisper, little bird, where are you going?"
I do not know. I am so very cold."
"Stay here then. You shall live on my warmest branch all winter if you choose." And the little bird turned and saw the friendly spruce tree.
"Will you really let me?"
"Indeed I will. If your friends have flown away, the trees must help. Here is a branch where my leaves are thick and soft." "My branches aren't very thick," boomed the noble pine, "but I am big and strong, and it can keep my north wind from you." "I can help too," piped the juniper bush. "I can give you berries all winter long, and every bird knows juniper berries are delicious." So the spruce gave the lonely little bird a home, the pine kept the cold north wind away, and the juniper bush gave it berries all winter long. The other trees looked on in disdain and drew their leaves in closely. But that very night something happened. A cold north wind blew in and swirled among the trees all night long. At dawnbreak, when the sun peeked over the hill, all those beautiful shiny leaves scattered the forest floor. "May I touch every tree in the forest?" laughed the wind in its frolic. But the Frost King replied, "The trees that have shown the bird with the broken wing kindness may keep their leaves." And that is why, all winter long, the spruce, the pine, and the juniper remain forever green.
Crisply the white snow whispered, crunching beneath our feet. Behind us as we walked along the parkway, our shadows danced, fantastic shapes in vivid blue. Across the lake, skaters flew to and fro, with sharp turns weaving a frail, invisible net. In ecstasy, the earth drank the silver sunlight. In ecstasy, the skaters drank the wine of speed. In ecstasy, we laughed, drinking the wine of love. Had not the music of our joy sounded its highest note? But no. For suddenly, with lifted eyes, you said, "Oh, look, there, on the black bough of a snow-flecked maple, fearless and gay as our love, a blue jay cocked his crest. Oh, who can tell the range of joy or set the bounds of beauty?
Jack Frost is a painter. Come, and you will see all the pretty pictures he has made for me. Jack Frost is a painter. He painted every glass, and now he's somewhere hiding. I think he's in the grass.
One wintertime, an old man and a young man journeyed to a distant province. Why they went has long been forgotten. Their task completed, they turned homewards as heavy clouds gathered and the wind began to blow. Along the way, icicles appeared on the trees. Snowflakes fell thick and fast. "How beautiful!" cried the young man. But the old one shivered and crouched on the ground, drawing his cloak around him. The young man blew on his fingers to warm them. Then he ran ahead looking for shelter and found a small, deserted hut. He carried his fellow traveler there and laid him down gently, covering him with his own straw coat. At midnight, an icy blast awakened the young man. The door swung open and the swirling snow blew about the hut. In horror, the young man saw his companion covered by snow. But suddenly, the snowdrift moved. The flakes fell away, and there rose a beautiful woman. Her face was pale as the snow. Her luminous eyes had a haunted look, and her slender hands stretched over the old man. Bright icicles hung from her fingertips. Her breath curled about like delicate white smoke. So easy. His time had come. Turning, she approached the young man. He grew numb from head to toe. His very blood froze, and his heart was a lump of ice. "Are you my death? Can this be all? I thank the gods my old friend was spared any pain." The snow woman paused, her icy fingers poised. A word for another at such a moment. She stroked his hair. "You are young and beautiful outside and in. I cannot take you." The young man wept. "But you must never speak of me, nor of this night. Not to your father, nor mother, sister or brother. Not to a maiden, nor a wedded wife. If you speak it, under sun, moon, wind, rain, or snow, you shall perish. Swear it." He did so. Sun, moon, wind, rain, snow, falling into a deep swoon. So, the old man died in the snowstorm, but the young one survived, and he lived an honorable life and kept his secret. Spring and summer came, and he wondered whether the snow woman was merely a dream. As happens, one day he saw a young woman and was transfixed by her beautiful clear skin, her slender hands, and her mysterious kind eyes. Yes, their courtship progressed, and soon they married. They made a home. They began a family. In spite of passing years, in spite of the pain and joy of motherhood, she remained like a young maiden. No line appeared on her brow, no gray in her hair, no dimness in her eyes. Her husband remained the happiest man for miles around. Morning and evening he prayed, "Let not the gods visit upon me if I have too much joy." Then one evening in winter, the young man, now no longer so young, hurried home from his chores, for the wind blew, icicles hung from the thatched roof, and the snow whirled madly. Bursting through the door, he saw his wife mending a garment. The charcoal glowed in the hibachi, and the children lay sleeping. His happiness poured out, and he exclaimed, "Dear, when I look at you tonight, I'm reminded of an adventure from many years ago." She spoke not at all. Possibly it was a dream. It was certainly strange as a dream. She went on sewing. "Once in a snowstorm, not unlike tonight, I saw a beautiful woman, not unlike you. Indeed, she was very like you. Tell me, she said, not lifting her eyes from her work. I have never spoken of her to anybody. Yet, he spoke of his journey, of the hut and the snowstorm. He spoke of the snow woman and how his old friend had died in her chill embrace. Then she came to my side and leaned over me. Gods, how cold she was, how cold, and yet she spared me, but made me swear, saying, but his wife broke in. You must never speak of me, nor of this night. Not to your father, nor mother, sister or brother, not to a maiden nor a wedded wife. If you speak it under sun, moon, wind, rain, or snow, you shall perish. She folded her sewing and looked up at him. Her face was as beautiful and pale as the snow. Her luminous eyes had a haunted look. Bright icicles hung from her fingertips. Her breath curled about like delicate white smoke. Rising, she went to the children and bent her face over them. The eldest murmured, "Cold, cold." The little girl cried, "Mother." Her husband wept, but she only pulled the warm quilt around her children. I have grown too cold to weep anymore. Even now I cannot take you, for you remain beautiful, inside and out. Cherish our children. Farewell. Farewell. Her voice sounded thin like piercing winter wind. Her form grew vague like a snow wreath or ice crystals suspended in the air. Then it rose slowly, passed through the ceiling, and the snow woman was seen no more.
Deep the cold around us spreading all through the night. Dark the path that we are treading all through the night. Though our hearts be wrapped in sorrow, from the hope of dawn we borrow promise of a glad tomorrow. Walk through the night.
It was terribly cold and nearly dark on the last evening of the old year. The snow fell fast. Through the darkness, a girl with a bare head and naked feet roamed the street. Oh, it's true that she had on a pair of shoes when she left home, but they were far too large. Well, actually, they belonged to her mother, but the poor creature lost them running across the street to avoid two carriages that clattered along at an alarming rate. One shoe she couldn't find, and a boy grabbed the other and ran away with it, saying that he'd use it as a cradle when he had children of his own. So the little girl walked on, with bare feet turning red and blue with the cold. In an old apron she carried matches, and had a bundle of them in her hands. "Matches! Matches for sale!" No one bought anything the whole day, and no one had given her even a penny. Shivering with cold and hunger, she crept on. The snowflakes fell on her fair curls, but she regarded them not. Lights shone from every window, and the savory smell of roast goose hung in the air, for it was New Year's Eve. Yes, she remembered that. In between two houses, she sank down and huddled, but she couldn't keep out the cold. Oh, perhaps a burning match might help. She struck it against the wall. Scratch! How it sputtered as it burned. It gave a warm, bright light like a little candle. She held her hand over it. It was really a wonderful light. It seemed that she was sitting by a large iron stove with polished brass feet and a brass ornament. How the fire burned, so beautifully warm. The child stretched out her feet as if to warm them when, lo, the match went out and the stove vanished. She rubbed another match on the wall. It burst into flame, and where the light fell upon the wall, it became transparent as a veil, and she could see inside. The table was covered with a snowy white tablecloth, on which stood a splendid dinner and a steaming roast goose stuffed with apples and dried plums. Then, still more wonderful, the goose suddenly jumped down from the platter and waddled across the floor to her. But the match went out, and there remained nothing but the thick, cold wall. She lit one more match and found herself sitting under a beautiful Christmas tree. It was larger and more gloriously decorated than the one she had seen through the glass door of the rich merchants. Thousands of candles glowed on the green branches, and colored ornaments like those she had seen in the store windows sparkled upon her. The girl stretched out her hands toward them just as the match flickered out. But the Christmas lights glittered and danced higher and higher till they looked to her like stars in the sky. Then she saw a star fall, leaving a bright streak of fire. Someone's dying, thought the little girl. For her grandmother, the only one who had ever really loved her and who was now dead, had told her that when a star falls, a soul is going up to God. She again struck a match against the wall, and suddenly, in the bright, flickering light, stood her grandmother, warm and smiling. Oh, grandmother, take me with you. I know that you'll leave when the match burns out. You'll vanish like the warm stove, the roast goose, and the beautiful Christmas tree. Quickly, she lit the whole bunch of matches. They burst forth with a warm light that was brighter than noonday. And her grandmother, kind and beautiful, enfolded the little girl into her arms, and upwards they flew, far, far above the earth, where there was neither cold, nor hunger, nor pain, but only brightness and warmth and joy. As dawn broke, they found leaning against a wall a tiny, lifeless body with pale cheeks but a smiling mouth. A little match girl had frozen to death on the last night of the year. In the stiffness of death, she clutched a bundle of burnt matches. She tried to warm herself, they said. But no one imagined what lovely visions she had seen, or into what beauty her grandmother had taken her on that New Year's Day.
Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. You will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near. Between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods, lovely, dark, and deep. But I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep.
Dry your tears, your aching yearning after the night. Now the bright new year discerning after the night. Snow falls on the world around us. Winterlight at last surrounds us. May our dreams be ever boundless.